isolation. So right now we're going through, this little pandemic called coronavirus. And we heard about it in China. And it was just a virus and people wearing masks and stuff like that. And after, the initial, what's that virus thing, I had a little twig inside of me saying, gee, I wonder if this is going to be something like one of those movies that Allison's so frightened of, where there's some zombie apocalypse. Would you like to just express a little bit about what's happening in the world these days?
Yeah, if you give me some notice,
Is that?
if you give me a little advance notice.
Okay, well, the news feeds would be like one story, two stories every, I don't know, 10 or 12 other stories of the news of the day or whatever's happening. And it's usually Trump. I gotta say, it's usually a story about Trump doing something stupid. And then it happened in Italy, and in Iran was starting to get infected too. And so now it's like, oh no, the spread is getting more serious. At the same time, Trump's downplaying the whole thing. And we are starting to think that this may be a little more serious than we thought it might be.
So, as Chris knows, in my office, we have CP24 or CNN, or we have full news on all day in the office. So whenever we go in and out of the kitchen, for whatever reason, we see the glimpse of the news, and sometimes we'll stand and just, see what's happening or listen to the rest of that story. Minor news story, something happening on the other side of the world is what we saw starting in January, and we were aware of it, but it was over there. And then it happened very quickly. I'm going to say last week, Wednesday, that was the day that I noticed that all levels of government were making statements all day. And that was the day for me when it changed. So that would have been March 12th. That's the day that it changed for me, when I started to say, oh, this is real. This is happening here. Or this might change the way we do things right now. And schools shut down. There was a big conference in Toronto, thousands of people mining, and where someone was infected, and it was all of a sudden a huge concern and scare that now we had this contact point in the city.
And that's where Kevin had a connection with his friend, right?
Yeah, he had a friend there too.
So there's a 6 degrees of separation.
Yeah. A week earlier, we were informed that, just as a notice of information only, an employee of another company that we are not involved with at all, rent space from us upstairs, and someone there had confirmed positive for COVID-19. So we got that memo to say, hey, just so you know, this happened, and when you come into work tomorrow, clear your desk. By the end of the day, they're all going to be sanitized, and the office upstairs is closed for 2 weeks because this person has it, and it's all being sanitized, and elevators and common areas are all going to be sanitized. And we're like, oh, okay. So we all come into work knowing that there's this sort of, veil over the building now, and all the news stations were there, and that this was this first office in Toronto that had reported somebody working downtown Toronto with the virus right in our building. So we cleared off our entire desk space, even things we did. They said just move any paper so it doesn't get damaged by the spray. They're putting a disinfectant spray over all of our desks, like an aerosol kind of thing.
I could see these guys in gas masks, just with these little magic wands spraying this green gas and letting the green gas just settle on everything and
that's
kill
the impression we got too.
And that's what you're dealing with then.
Yeah. On Friday, I started thinking about it a little bit more, like, what's going to happen to us? What about our work? And then over the weekend, both days, there was more news of more just evolving situation every day. And so I started thinking, oh, okay, I wonder, gee, it's just got to be a matter of time before our office is working from home, because everyone won't be traveling.
Yeah.
So I went to bed Sunday night wondering, how many more days this is going to happen. And so Monday morning, when I woke up and looked at my email, I got up and said, oh, office is closed. The email came at like 11 o'clock on Sunday night to say we'd all be working remotely from the head offices. And so there you go. And I've been home ever since all week. And every day is changing. Every day the news is different.
We have been following the exploits of John and Barb's beautiful pictures of their trip to North Africa. And they look like they had a great time. It's fantastic. They've been in deserts and riding camels. So they're there having a great time. We're seeing it all on Facebook. And then, of course, we're seriously concerned now more about the coronavirus, and so is everyone who's traveling. My first inclination was that they should just hang out there, spend as much time as they can. But that whole thing about, your health, of course, weighs heavy, and that's what they were thinking, so they wanted to come home. And we'd been hearing the story, Justin Trudeau on the news saying, we're going to bring them back. We're going to bring them back. We're going to do everything we're going to do. And they were stranded there, and they were talking about how hard it was to trying to get home. The airlines aren't answering, airports are closing down around the world, and John and Barb are in the middle of that, right? John finally said that, hey, we're heading to the airport. We're going to leave because it's the last day the airport's open. We have to get out of here. So they bought 5 tickets on different airlines just to get out of there. And in line at the airport. Now I'm calling at 9 o'clock in the morning on Messenger. Surprisingly, he answers, and he's like in the airport. I'm not sure what time it is. I think they got to be about at least 7 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours before us. And he starts like, hey, he's got his like cap on, and he's like, I could see his face, and there are people in the airport around him. And I say, hey, how's it going? And he goes, hey, well, it's a shitstorm here. It's crazy. He just winds his camera over to the guy who's beside him. I think he's got a little beard. He looks like a relatively young guy, but nice looking guy. And he goes, this is my new friend. He's American. I go, hey, how's it going? He can see me. I can see him. And then John starts telling me about how he's kind of like in a panic, and everyone's at the airport and they're all leaving. And he goes, hey, this guy that I just met in the airport, he's a really nice guy. He's an American. He's the musical director to Saturday Night Live. And it's like, I go, you met the guy, the musical director from Saturday Night Live? That's amazing. And he goes, yeah. But the gist of the story is, yeah, he's trying to get out last night, and that was another personal connection to the pandemonium that's kind of going on in the world right now. But I think we're all trying to keep it pretty cool. Look at that ice. Just missing my Pump Island. Oh, there's that container over there. Look at that. Oh my god. We're trying to keep it cool?
We're trying to keep it cool.
Yeah. And how do you keep cool? Knitting kitten? How do you keep cool?
I've been knitting today.
And what's happening on the weekend?
Well, on the weekend, I found out from one of my quilt designers that I follow. I found out from her that she was doing a QQAL, which is a quarantine quilt-along. And a quilt-along is an event where people all over the internet work on a project together.
Welcome everybody, and thank you for being a part of this historical event. We have a quilt-along involving folks from all over the world while the world goes through this crisis of most of us being quarantined to our houses, or at least suggesting that we do. So I'm so excited that you're here. We're going to have a really fun day.
So we're all working on a project from GE Designs, and we've all chosen our own fabrics, and we have a kind of a Facebook group where everyone's sharing their information, and I feel like I'm in a community project right now. So it's been kind of exciting and kind of a nice distraction. Chris could tell you that I've been feeling a little anxious, and as each day goes by, I see my anxiety going up a little each day.
Now, as quilters, of course, we self-medicate with quilting. So what is better than being stuck in our house sometimes? But it is scary and, of course, very stressful time for many of us. So as we know, quilting heals. There's nothing better than being creative. It actually is scientifically proven that being creative makes endorphins in your body and releases endorphins, which is, of course, the best stress reliever ever.
When Mom was going through the war, she knit for the soldiers, but knit to keep calm in a way at the same time. And she loved knitting, and she sort of now shares her knowledge with Allison, which is kind of nice. Mom and Allison sit there and knit together, and you know, Mom's pretty seasoned, so she's got a few ideas up her sleeve when it comes to different patterns and designs, and Allison's really great at what she's doing with her quilting. They're the ones that are most prone to the virus. We could get through it. We could get over it, most likely. But our parents are the ones that we have to really look out for.
Well, we've been checking in with them and making sure that they're feeling okay and able to have a plan to go out and get their food. So,
because of this virus, and we're all in self-isolation, Jasmine was staying with Mom. Jasmine was showing me videos that she said, "Oh, I'm ashamed to show you my generation during the March break."
I get corona. At the end of the day, I'm not going to let it stop me from partying. You know, we've been waiting for Miami spring break for a while. Whatever happens, happens.
Like, it's really messing up with my spring break. What is there to do here other than go to the bars or the beach, and they're closing all of it? It's really messing up. I think they're blowing it way out of proportion.
This virus ain't that serious. It's more serious things out there like hunger and poverty, and we need to address that.
We're just making the most of it. We met these other people in our little Airbnb spot, so we're just hanging out with them and trying to get drunk before everything closes.
We're going to enjoy ourselves. We having day parties all day.
Boy, we're just living for the moment.
Toilet paper and hand sanitizer is gone from the markets. Every shelf you go to, they're empty. We went shopping in 2 places yesterday. I tried to find hand sanitizers. Couldn't find it. They're out, sold out. Here in the States, they've got like hoarding guns. Gun sales have gone right up. So people are hoarding food, toilet paper, and guns, and going to their bunkers. So this is our bunker, but I think it's pretty sweet, don't you? And look, the dog comes with the place.
I'm thinking about today, and my next evolution of this is that how might this be affecting our lives going forward in some permanent way, perhaps. How might it change the way we think about things, how the way we do things, how we go forward, what our expectations are, what our needs are. So I think things might change.
Maybe this will bring the world a little closer together. Thanks for your insights. You're terrific.
Get me off camera.
Okay. How's it going? So last night, Elton John was having a live performance with other musicians, all part of the coronavirus iHeartRadio charitable donation drive.
Everyone out there fighting to keep us safe is such an inspiration. Right now, we all need to help out in any way we can. Remember, donate to Feeding America at feedingamerica.org/iHeart.
He had performers like Alicia Keys, Lady Gaga.
My heart goes out to people who have lost loved ones and also to people that are losing their jobs.
Some of the Backstreet Boys. In fact, we were just... I got it. Tim McGraw.
I'm impressed with the variety of performance for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wait, any one stand out?
I like seeing the guy from Green Day.
I walk a lonely road, the only one that I have ever known.
It was sad in parts because you get to see the frontline workers really struggling with what's going on.
Basically, I just spent the last 13 hours treating 2 critically ill COVID patients on the vent, basically by myself. And this is my new normal for the next however many months that it takes for this virus to die down. So, I'm already breaking. So for sake, people, please take this seriously.
I want to say I'm so grateful for all of the doctors and nurses all around the world, all of the first responders, all the people keeping our supermarkets stocked. You are our heroes right now.
There goes my hero. Watch him as he goes.
What I found was really interesting is that they did a show on Fox. The values of the Fox network are troublesome. I thought this was a perfect Trojan horse that Elton John set in motion. Putting this free concert on the Fox network to the Trump base. Maybe having them now see that this pandemic is out of control and not relegated to race, religion, sexual preference. We need to start living in a kinder world where we all look after each other. That's what I thought was most important about last night's performance. It was a kind of a beautiful experience, the kind of thing that we all kind of needed in isolation. Happy that I watched it and I was a part of that.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only skies. Imagine all the people living for today.
Today we went to Sobeys. How was our experience at Sobeys?
Oh, how to describe it?
Can you believe that old guy at the front? Hacking over all the carts?
I know, I saw you out there inside the door and heard him from inside the store, and I was hoping that you would get out of there as quickly as possible. Each week when we go to the grocery store lately, it's changed. So as we're approaching the store, I was thinking about, okay, what do I have to do here when I get in? So I see the sanitization table, and there's all kinds of spray bottles and stuff, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna get the card, but I'm gonna just wear my gloves. I don't think I have to spray it. It just seems, I wasn't sure what to do. Anyway, we get inside. I thought, oh, maybe we should just spray the handle of the cart. So Chris went back out to the cart area. In the meantime, I see behind him, this man comes out inside the door, and he's coughing horribly.
I was trying to get my plastic gloves and
yeah.
cleaner out of there so we could clean the handle on the shopping cart.
But right now, not cool because everyone's supposed to stay home if you're sick.
I didn't know they had these.
And as we go through the store to check out, we've got marks on the floor telling us where to line up. Cashiers have plexiglass to keep them separated.
With all of it unknown, everything again had changed since last week.
Yep.
I felt totally safe. I thought the biggest weakness is getting used to being physically isolated from people and not getting too close. And we're not used to that. We don't really look at each other, and people are sort of just, look the other way, keep our heads down, because everyone's, a little bit suspicious. We feel a bit vulnerable being in there. But the people on the front lines, and mostly they're teenagers, they're right in the open, and they can't avoid the 2-meter rule if people are coming near them. So there they are stalking and going on about their jobs. But the amazing part is, twice in my experience there today at Sobeys in Fenland Falls, 2 different stock personnel stopped to say, hello, how are you today?
Yeah, they did.
And
Me too.
they were actually, taking the time to, go over and above to make people feel more comfortable and take some of that anxiety off of all of us who are shopping in these times. So kudos to the Sobeys staff. Well, today I was feeling some increased anxiety about the COVID-19 situation. I checked those stories, checked the morning news, and that is all the news. There are no other stories that I could see. Numbers become milestones, and so the number 10,000 cases in Canada was posted today, and so it kind of stuck in my mind. And first thing in the news was that some more residents of the nursing home in Bobcaygeon had died. That's super sad and crazy, and how does this happen so quickly? I'm only going to check the news feed first thing in the morning at the end of the day, because I feel that I'm becoming fixated on the situation. It's causing me additional anxiety.
Allison and I bought this cottage from a guy named Gord. When he showed us the place, he told us about the rising of the river.
How high does the water get in the spring?
When it comes up, it gets up to about here.
Are you serious? It would usually happen around 7-year span. There would be a bigger flood. Sometimes it would crest into the farmers' fields across the way. But this time, the floods were becoming more regular.
Well, unexpected and extraordinary. Well, I believe that other people are probably feeling the same way. We don't know exactly what the course is. We can't let this overwhelm us throughout our day.
Last year, we experienced the big flood for the first time. We saw the water come higher and higher, rise right up to the fuse box for the pump. And it's like, wow. Our cottage is perched up rather high, so we're okay. But some of our neighbors had to row a boat to their cottage front steps. Others just left.
I need to find moments where I can also just be myself and spend some time having a little walk, some sewing, some knitting, some reading, family, which is so important, connections, something where I can come down and still maintain some kind of sense of normal and some kind of sense of balance.
Last year, we found a canoe wedged in the trees along the side of the bank. Every year, there is uncertainty about when the river will crest. In these extraordinary times, like the river, we watch anxiously for the pandemic curve to flatten.
In that vein, we are all in this together. We all have to do the best we can, maintain a balance in our lives, and keep calm and carry on.
What do you want? Why don't you tell me? What do you want? So I started making masks yesterday. I had been reading a lot online, especially as being part of the sewing community, that people were starting to make masks. It seemed to start in the US and then starting here. But there was some conflicting information as to the value of homemade masks. Anyway, the consensus seems to be moving more in the direction that they are of value. So I've decided to go ahead and make some masks. I joined a Facebook group called Canada Sews, and they are actually coordinating a large effort to distribute masks across Canada.
So I started with a basic mask, and once I tried it myself, I realized that there's some air leakage at the top. It makes your glasses steam up. So now I've made a modification on my latest mask, and this one includes a pocket for a wire. So we're just experimenting to see if this wire would work. I had read that you can use any light gauge wire. You can also use like gardening ties and things like that. But this is what we've got on hand right now. So I'm going to sort of make a little loop. And I've made a little sort of pouch for this to go in. And let's just see if this works. Put this through here. And this way you can bend the mask so that it will fit over your nose better. Oh yeah, that's way better. It's perfect. Making masks gives me something to do that feels useful and that I'm contributing during this situation.
It may come to the point where we are required to wear a mask when we leave the house and we go out in the public, so as many as I can make right now.
So this newest template is called the Betty. It's for my mom, and we'll see how she likes it. She's on her own right now. She is going out in the community where necessary for her shopping, and so I want to make sure that she has masks to wear as much as possible to be protected.
This is what I look like in the nursing home. Jason looks like that little puppet, remember?
We were talking about how amazing it is, of course, that technology is what it is today in the midst of this pandemic, because we are able to get together virtually over our devices.
No, don't like that one.
And it was a really great way to see each other and have a little social interaction.
I miss foot fungus.
Don't say anything about people in their 80s that they don't know how to use technology, because my mom does. She's using the effects on there. It was a lot of fun.
So where are we going?
We're going to Guelph.
What for?
We're going to drop off the boys' masks that I made for them.
I'm with her.
I feel a little bit nervous right now. Going on a car right now is different than it used to be, and I'm thinking about all the things. It feels weird. Should we be out here? There's hardly anyone on the road. Obviously, no bathroom breaks. No coffee shops are open, as far as I know, except for takeout windows. So we're just going there, doing curbside drop-off of the masks, and then heading back home again. Hey, I'm here. We're at Kevin and Chloe's. Dropping off.
Thank you for the mask.
This thing's about 2 meters.
Welcome.
How's social distancing and isolation and all going?
It's okay. It's actually not that different from my normal life, actually, sadly. Although it does feel psychologically different. But in practice, because I work from home most of the time.
You know anybody who's gotten sick?
No, thankfully.
There's an outbreak in the nursing home, if you watch from here.
Kevin, I hear you're doing a lot of cooking in lieu of being socially isolated.
Yeah, pretty much. Doing a lot of cooking. That's
It's working out well for me.
yeah.
That's good. I see you got the Wolverine thing going there.
Rolled out. Yeah, it's like 3 weeks, I guess. Yeah.
Is that in sort of protest of the pandemic or what?
No, it's in laziness.
So see your masks.
They look so professional.
Wow.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I like the geography, elevations.
Well, and I have all this fabric in my stash, right? And I'm like, okay, what will I use for, each person? So if Kev showed you the picture, I found all these, like a science one for Jeff.
I saw
and
that equation.
Yeah.
Very fun.
And a writing one for Brent.
Very fun. Wow.
Yeah.
So
Thank
there you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So wear them. It's almost like a vaccine in a way because we only protect you so much, but it protects other people.
Nice.
Thank
It's
you.
good to see him. And I'm glad they have masks though.
Okay.
Yeah, and they saw the difference. No one was wearing them a week ago, and then they went this week and people were wearing them. So it's important they have them too. Larry number 2. Stop eating Brendan's. Brendan is an amazing cook and baker. And I guess he's had a little extra time on his hands right now. So I have been lucky enough to have been in line for, it's a trade, some of his home-baked bread. Second in a row? Wow, this feels really nice.
Oh, they're nice.
I themed them for you guys.
Yeah, that's cool.
How are you making it?
Goodbye. Boring.
Hey.
They all seem to be okay. I think they lead pretty quiet lives anyways. Yeah, it's weighing on me a bit. I just wanted to do that for them, and I'm glad they have them now. I hope they all like their masks and that they will all wear them and stay safe. Any protection I can give them. I just wanted to do that for them and feel good.
It was nice riding with you today, shotgun. What do you think, Ella? What do you think, Ella? Do you have a mask, Ella?